What's going on, awesome people? It is Wednesday, December 15th, and wherever you are around the world, welcome to another episode of Awesome People, the Instagram Live series. That's a rough start, but we're going to continue going. Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you here. In case you've never been a part of what we've been doing so far, it is 31 days of straight IG Lives with the most awesome Persian entrepreneurs, artists, creators that we can possibly find in my network. So I'm so grateful for the first 14th day. And tonight, my guest is Rumy Love. He's guest number 15 of this 31-day virtual conversational marathon that I've had the distinguished pleasure of hosting. And thank you so much for joining in. I see a lot of familiar faces. Appreciate you guys coming in. Feel free to drop a line, say hello, tell us where you're from. It's a family affair up in here, guys, every single night. And as tiring and time-consuming that these IG Lives have been, they've been a blessing, and I've been truly motivated to continue doing these things over and over. Every conversation that I have with an awesome Persian, it gets me more excited, it gets me more prideful, it gets me more optimistic that, damn, there's so many freaking good people on earth, and I'm just so glad that many of them are my fellow Persians, you know. But what's great is that us Persians, what we're doing great things for the rest of the world. And that means that we're bridging the gap between nationalities. And really, that's the ultimate goal, right? It's all about representing humanity and not so much dividing through borders. But we have to first huddle up our own people and embrace them and put a spotlight on them and continue to lift them up, to bring them up, to put them on the highest levels of stages that you can. And that's really my small little part. And by you joining, you watching, you clicking the like button, you subscribing to our YouTube channel, you are the fuel to this engine that we're trying to grow together. So appreciate you, very grateful for you. And just a little reminder, on December 29th, we're having a 5-hour special edition of Zendegi. If you don't know Zendegi, it is our Persian music live stream. And we have a great setup going on. 5 hours, 3 DJs, DJ Kia, DJ Sam, DJ Yazdan. Got some nice surprises, some giveaways. Please mark your calendar. The promotional element is going to start off very soon. And you're going to hopefully join and enjoy a great program virtually as we celebrate Persian music, Persian artists, and all that good stuff. With that in mind, speaking of Persians and awesome Persians, I created a little form. It's on my Instagram link where you can nominate an awesome Persian in your books. And it doesn't have to be a famous person. If there's a Persian that you know of that is doing something great for the community, for the country, for whatever, just whatever kind of background, I don't care. I just want to meet as many awesome Persians as possible. And I'm going to do my best to put them on these IG Lives. If not this month, then even in the future. And if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, it'll be in the description. I'm going to have this Google form up. I feel like I'm going to have this continue for a long time. Not daily, I'm not crazy, but I will continue doing this. So that's that. Before I bring on my amazing guest and longtime friend and fellow Washingtonian, I've been doing these 10 seconds of gratitude in the beginning of every IG Live. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take a 10-second pause. If you'd like to join me, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just count your blessings for 10 seconds. I'm going to go in 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you, as always, for joining me on this little part of the IG Live, which I highly recommend. At one point, ladies and gentlemen, I know what a crazy life you live. I know how much you got going on at home. I know how stressful work can be. Even if you're doing things that you're passionate about, it all builds up. It all builds up. And having a few moments to just kind of chill, to relax, to just appreciate and just count your blessings, you'll be shocked how much it's a great recalibration. So enough about me, enough about what we're doing. We have a special guest and I want to jump right to it. It is none other than Rumy Love. We have the fan base. We got Nilu Noor over there. We got Nikki and Mahdi. We got Dr. Mahtab Hariri, who's going to be my guest tomorrow. Let's just bring on this wonderful young man that I get to have the pleasure of calling and give technology a second to link us together. Bada bing, bada boom, and here he is. What's going on, brother?
Hi, Iman. Khubi.
Good. I love that background, man.
You like it? I just had
Great.
some lighting, you know.
It looks sexy, man. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
Fantastic, man. It's been a while since we had a chance to see each other in person. Actually, I feel like the only time I've ever seen you is at weddings, and it's always the best. It's always the best weddings because it's your entire family and friends who are all full of energy, full of love, full of excitement. And I'm just happy to see you here now in a different setting, but still a positive one, you know?
Thank you. And thank you so much for doing this for the Persians, bringing us together and just giving us all opportunities.
No problem. My pleasure. And so for those who don't know, Rumy Love, also known as Behrod, why don't you just give them a little background about, you know, who you are, what you're into career-wise and all that good stuff in a short 1 to 2 minute little section.
Sure. Well, I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a LGBTQIA plus advocate. I'm really into just being myself, doing my art, affecting people through my art. I've been doing this since I was like 14 years old. I've been doing demos. I've been working on music and writing. And I worked at Def Jam. I worked at Bad Boy. I did like all this stuff with producers. And now I'm here with you.
Nice.
I'm just trying to, you know, get my music out there and change the world.
Man, and first of all, you have been, and I'm so glad and grateful that you've blessed our stages at our events in the past. A lot of great memories of you performing as well. You've always brought such great energy. Immediately, I'm thinking of Warner Theater. I'm thinking of one of the Nota's events where you came with your dancers, man. Always a professional, always full of love, always full of energy.
Thank you.
And it transferred to the people that always performed with you, you know? So it was always like a gang, but a good gang that's coming to make some magic happen. So good.
Yeah, we had a lot
of
fun.
Yeah, good for you for continuing to push all this energy. And like when I saw your video from last year, March the Streets, my God, dude, it's and I admit there must have been a gap that I didn't follow everything you were doing, but when I saw that, I just saw so much growth as an artist. I saw so much authenticity, so much confidence, so much passion. And when you guys stop watching it, you got to go to YouTube, Rumy Love, March. Is it Marching the Streets or March the Streets?
March the Streets, just March.
March the Streets. Like song, lyrically, melody, the video, him, it's on point. So you guys have to like definitely check it out after this. But don't leave the IG live. Yeah. So you mentioned, you know, since 14, and obviously, you know, one main reason that I wanted to have you on here, especially on a limited 30 minutes, we could talk about your career and all that stuff in a longer setting, but really it was about the LGBTQIA advocacy, you know, and really your story. That's really, I'm hoping that by sharing your story, we get to positively impact the lives of other people, the Rumies of 15 years old right now, you know? So that's really the main goal. And I know it's something you're passionate about too. So one thing that I saw on one of your Instagrams was I think for Shishranj, where you had to share your first kiss story, which it also turned out to be the story where you ended up coming out to your family. So take us back to the age of 14 and that cool story that you shared on IG Live or in Instagram. Share it here with us, please.
Well, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I think I was 13 or 12 or something. I was really young. And she really wanted to, like, kiss me. So I was like, all right, well, let me try this. And then we kissed at the playground, I remember. And then I was like, this is not what I expected. Like, I was like, I don't like this at all. So then at that moment, I was kind of like, I don't know if I really like girls. But after that, I continued to like try to date girls, and I was kind of in the closet for a while. But then I ended up telling my parents, and they were like, you know, supportive. Well, not at first. They weren't that supportive. They're Persian parents. It was hard for them at first. But eventually now they're like amazing. They're LGBTQ advocates as well themselves. So yeah.
Awesome. So my question is twofold. One is, before you even told your parents, what was going on in your head, in your heart? I mean, 12, 13, 14, we're still trying to figure out life as it is. And here you are in a very unique or outlier kind of position. What was going on? How were you even coming to terms with it internally before you even got to, you know, tell people? You know, first you have to figure out what's going on, right?
Yeah. So at first, honestly, it was more of like fear. I realized something was different because I was attracted to other men. And so I was like, you know, at the time, I hadn't really heard about being gay because I was like 11, 12 years old when I started having attraction towards men. And I just felt like something was really wrong with me. So I don't want to make it really dark, but I even at that young age, I contemplated suicide, and I didn't want to live. I didn't want to be gay. I didn't want to be who I am. So it was a difficult time for me, and I kept it private. But I knew for a couple years before I told my parents. I was 14 when I told my parents. And the reason I felt comfortable to tell them is because my mom has always been an amazing friend and has always communicated with me really openly about things. So I just felt in that moment, we were watching a movie, and in the movie two guys kissed, and my mom made a comment about it that like, you know, that I'm Chikara like type of thing, like what is this? And then my reaction was like, oh, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And then my mom was like, really, like what's going on? So then I explained to her that, you know, I'm gay. And it was shocking for her, and it was hard for her, and it was a hard time for me as well. But the way that they dealt with it was very, are you sure? You know, you're really young. Maybe, you know, you need to talk to somebody, you know, and it wasn't very much like, it wasn't like what you would expect a Persian family to be like. It wasn't like they were like, no, this is not right. You're like, you're grounded. Like, you can't do this. Or like, you know what I mean? It was more like communicating with me. And at the time, myself had issues with it, you know? So the fact that they were saying that, I was like, okay, yeah, you know, maybe they are right. So for a really long time, I was trying to become straight, you know? So I was like,
how long would you say that trying was? At what point were you like, fuck it, man, I am who I am, and I'm going to continue living my life?
Not that long. Like it was probably like 15, 16. Like I started telling my friends in school. Like I started telling my close friends in school. And I would just, you know, had a couple people that knew, but I didn't openly tell everybody. I didn't feel comfortable. And even when I was older, when I started working with you and I started doing shows with you, I wasn't comfortable talking about it. I wasn't comfortable being a gay artist, quote unquote. I just kind of was like, I'll keep it, you know, I won't talk about it. And that way no one will really know anything. But as I got older, I just thought it was more important to be honest and true to myself.
Was there a turning point? Was there somewhere where, because I feel like it takes first self-confidence, you know, like did something happen? Did someone come into your life? Were there things that were happening around you that you were like, okay, I now have the confidence to put my chin up and march forward, and not just for myself, but it's a collective movement?
It was my friends, I would say. I had two really close friends. My friend Jackie, my friend Hale, they were really close to me at the time. They knew everything about my life and they supported me wholeheartedly. And so did their families. So they knew and their parents knew. And so I would go to their house. They would treat me like, you know, it's okay that you're gay. Don't worry about it. And it was kind of like a support, you know, that I needed because at the time I didn't like myself and I didn't want to be that way. And also I just was supposed to be actively trying to be straight. So I was like, if I had thoughts about guys, I would like try to not have the thoughts about guys. Or if I would like, you know, just, I don't know, look at like some type of something that would like be homoerotic, I would be like, oh, I gotta change that. I can't watch this. I gotta like be into girls. And I would make comments that like, oh, she's hot, like, but I really wouldn't feel it. I would just say it to kind of be like, maybe I can make myself believe it. But eventually I was just like, no, this isn't for me. I can't. I'm too uncomfortable being someone else. I'm more comfortable being in my own skin and just being myself.
So what about if they're Persian parents right now and they're in the same situation that your parents were about, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago? What word of advice do you have for them? Because these things, it's part of our life. It's all over. It happens to, it is a situation for many people. And it's two groups of people have to deal with this. One is, of course, the individual themselves, and then there's the parents, and of course, family. But let's focus on parents, and perhaps let's focus on Persian parents, you know, because we are, you know, as a culture, unfortunately, this is one of the biggest shortcomings that we have, is to be able to address these kind of issues, be welcoming, be receptive, be loving. What would you recommend to Persian parents that would hear the news today?
Well, I think that there's still a huge stigma attached to it for not just Persian parents, but like a lot of people, but specifically for Persian people, it's a lot of stigma and they're really worried about their reputation. You know, Persian people are always like, you know, don't go and embarrass us. You know what I'm saying? So it was always like the type of thing where I felt like if I was to come out, they would feel a certain way, or I would, you know, embarrass my family and our name. And it was like a pressure that was, you know, kind of weighing me down. And the fact that my parents eventually, you know, were like, okay, it's okay. It like lifted that burden off of my shoulders. But what I would recommend for parents that are going through something like that is to do some more research, because ignorance and not knowing anything, because their generation was taught that basically being gay is a mental illness, and it's not. So they think that you can fix it by going to therapy or taking medication or putting your kid in one of those like gay camps where they try to like, I forgot what they're called, but change them into straight kids. You know what I mean? So I would say definitely seek out maybe help, a counselor, a therapist, somebody that you guys could openly talk to. Your kid can feel comfortable to talk to, you know, with you not there. And then, you know, have you guys meet and talk about it together and go from there. But I think the worst thing to do is to, you know, sweep everything under the rug and pretend it's not happening.
Of course. And what about on the other end? Right now, if you had a chance to get back to the mindset of Rumy at age of 12, 13, and you could now go into the ears of another individual that age, what would you advise them? How would you let them navigate through this difficult period of their life?
Well, I think it's really different nowadays for kids that are that age. I mean, not probably for, you know, foreign kids, foreign parents, because it's still really hard. But I know so many kids nowadays are growing up and they're like, it's almost like a fad to say like, oh, I'm bisexual, or oh, I'm queer, or oh, I'm gay. And back when I was, you know, I didn't even know anybody that was gay. The only thing I knew that was like Ellen DeGeneres had kissed a girl on her show, and it was like really, really like dramatic, and everyone was freaking out about it. That was the only thing I really knew. And then after that, Will and Grace came out, and then after that, like a couple more things started, like I think it was Queer Eye for the Straight Guy started coming out. So then we were exposed more and more. But now there's so much exposure. There's so much information about just sexuality, about gender, about everything, that I just think it's an easier. But then for Persian people, like I even know Persian men that are, you know, grown men that I'm friends with that are not out. They're not comfortable being out. They're only out amongst other Persian men and other people that they're, you know, gay friends, but they're not out with their family. They're not out with other Persian, you know, people. And so I think it's still hard for people, definitely in our culture, because I think it's the main thing is it's the pride and embarrassing your family, and you don't want to put that shame on them. But unfortunately, you know, that's going to take a toll on you and your soul. And it's going to come out in different ways, through anxiety, depression, panic attacks, stuff like that. So the reason I'm preaching be yourself is not just for, just me to be like, oh, everyone's gay. Like, I don't have an agenda to make everybody gay. My agenda is for you to live whoever you are. Even if you're straight, be that person that you are, so that you don't have all these issues, and you don't have all this anger, and you're not, spewing that on other people, because I see that all the time, people that are just angry. And I'm like, well, it's probably because, you're suppressing something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that part. And what I really appreciate what you're trying to do, man, is like, there's people inside of Iran that that are going through this, and they're getting persecuted for those thoughts. And like, I like the fact that you take a lot of like gratitude in being able to live in a country where you are able to speak, your truth and stuff. So can you kind of touch on that, please, about how being
I definitely think that I'm very lucky to be in the United States, even though over here there's some stigma attached to it, and I still honestly sometimes don't feel safe in certain environments. But at the same time, it's better than living in Iran. And so it's one thing for me to preach and tell people, be yourself and be gay and wear your flag, and you know what I mean? But I can't really say that to Iranian people that live in Iran. That's not fair, because if they do, they could get killed. They could go to jail. They could go, you know what I mean? A lot of horrible things could happen to them. So I think it's really important for people like me who are more fortunate, who live in the United States, who live in places that are free, to be more open about their sexuality. So we can support those people. So we can be like, hey, look, I'm this way, and it's okay. And, you can feel comfortable, even if you can't be open in that world. It's just, there's more of us. There's people like us out there, you don't feel alone.
Right. You want to be the voice of the voiceless, essentially, and hopefully by way of speaking up over here when you can, that it transfers some type of confidence to them. So at least in their own communities, even if it is inside Iran, they can be themselves, you know, around their loved ones stuff. Tell me about this video that I'm like obsessed over. What was the catalyst of it? Tell me the whole story from songs to lyrics to DC Black Lives Matter to your outfit, the high heels, boots. I mean, everything. Take us back into it because I want to spend some time talking about that part.
Thank you. So basically, I don't usually dress in heels and stuff. Like I don't usually do that. But for this song, the song says in it, like, I'm going to wear my heels and I'm going to march the street. So I just felt like it's appropriate to do that. It was actually really hard to walk in those heels. I messed up my feet really bad. I don't think I'll ever wear heels again. But I have a new respect for women for that. But it was basically during the time when the Black Lives Matter movement was happening.
Yeah.
And my inspiration was behind that. So when I was watching the riots and I was watching a lot of stuff about Donald Trump, I just would get really angry internally. And I just remember watching the news, and then one night the lyrics of the song came to me, and I just started the song that way. And then literally within a month, I did the song, recorded it, and then by the end of the month, I was planning on doing the video. Like everything came to me, like the concept and everything. And during that time, they closed down the street in DC. So I was like, this is like an awesome opportunity to go on the street and actually like, you know, be there, like be on that street. So it was really cool. It was an awesome experience. I will never forget it. It was just like I was there and there were people that were coming to, you know, support Black Lives Matter. And there were people cheering me on the street and asking for my autograph and taking pictures with me. And it was just, it was a really cool experience and I really enjoyed it. And I'm really proud of having that as, you know, in my like music portfolio.
What was the reaction that you got from it?
I've been getting really good reaction from it. Everyone's like, all my friends and people are kind of obsessed with it. It's kind of annoying, actually. Every time I go somewhere, they're like, let's play the video. Let's play the video. And I'm just like, okay, sure, video. But yeah, no, it's really cool. I think that no one really expected that from me, and I didn't even expect that from me. Like, my parents were like not expecting it from me, but they're really proud and they're really happy that I'm, you know, speaking my mind, and I'm just have a voice, like you said, for the voiceless gay Iranians, LGBTQ Iranians, you know?
Absolutely. So in general, because, you know, everything we're doing here is really putting together, we're trying to get together the Persian community. We want to strengthen us. We want to make us better, more open-minded. As a community, if there's any other suggestions that you have, what else can we do essentially to make sure that you guys feel safe, you guys feel loved, you guys feel supported, you guys feel welcome, so that it reverberates everywhere. You know, I have the small voice, but if a lot of people, you know, we all share our small voices, it will really reach higher levels. So if there's anything else that the community can be doing to support the entire LGBTQ community, let's talk about that for a few minutes.
Well, I think that it's just really important because there's a lot of people, like you said, that need a voice, and they're you know, it's just good to support. If you see someone posting something, or, you know, don't be so scared of what people will think. Like, if you like someone that's gay, some people worry like, oh, well, my friends might think I'm gay. You know what I mean? But I've noticed nowadays people have come around to these types of things more. My friends and everybody is like really cool with it. It's more, I think, the people themselves, the gay guys themselves have an issue with it more. It's like, it's almost like, they've been like scarred somehow as a child and they don't feel comfortable coming out. So I want to speak to them and be like, you know, you have to be strong. You have to be strong for yourself. You're an adult now. You're not a child. You know, no one can hurt you. No one can put you in timeout. No one can do anything to you. You can take control over your life. You can say, this is who I am, and stand proud in it and not worry about the backlash because you're an adult. You don't live with your family anymore. You don't live with you know what I mean? There's a difference between, and then for the kids, I would say they don't have the, you know, if you're like younger and you still live with your parents and you don't feel, you know, like you want to come out or you're safe, I would say take your time and do it on your own time. You don't have to. You don't have to necessarily feel like, oh, I'm going to talk about this right now. But at the same time, if you want to, then do it. You know, there's no pressure. Sexuality is a private thing. I don't go around asking people, hey, do you sleep with men or women? That's none of my business. You know what I mean? The only reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to inspire people. I'm trying to inspire other people to be open so that we can help people that are having problems with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. You know, what I sense from what you're saying is that it seems like the society as a whole, especially in this country, is starting to get open to it. So, okay, we finally shed a light on that, but there's still people themselves that are not comfortable enough to come out, and we need to encourage them to come out. And you obviously mentioned something in the very beginning about how you contemplated taking your own life, which of course is the bottom of bottoms. You know, like there's a lot of people can relate to depression, whether you're gay or not. And so, but within the gay community, is there a particular platform, a website, a group that you think that, okay, if you're 13, 14 years old and you are in that abyss of sadness, depression, and you think you're alone and you can't relate to other people, so that you don't get to that horrific state that you at once were, is there organization, is there people that you're like, yes, please, you can definitely reach out to these people, they will help you, they will guide you?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about the organizations, but what I do know is from yesterday watching Nikki's podcast, I actually use Psychology Today to find my therapist. And
great.
yeah, and I would suggest that. And I think that therapy is really important. I think it's really important because you get stuck in your own mind and your own thoughts, and sometimes those thoughts are not good for you. Sometimes they work against you. And because you're so used to it and you're used to a particular habit, you're unaware that you're having these thoughts even. You know what I mean? So once you talk to a therapist and you talk about these things, you start to realize that you're doing habitual things all the time that are not necessarily working in your favor. So I would say that definitely has changed my life, therapy. But also, I would say good friends, having good friends you can be honest with, be true with, and have a group, that support each other. Find your group. Find a group of people that are, if your family doesn't support you, that will be your second family, will be your family. Maybe your family will even not want to, talk to you anymore. There's a lot of people that deal with that, unfortunately. But if that's the case, I would say find a family, I don't have a particular group to suggest, but I would say find a group. For example, I've looked into joining the gay choir of DC, so that way I would have a community of people that know what I'm going through, know what I've been through. And there's certain groups that you can join. There's like sports groups for gay guys. There's a lot of different things. And no one has to know about it. You can do whatever, you know what I mean? Right. And then eventually, once you feel comfortable, you can take the steps to come out or, do what you want to do to be happy. And I just really think everyone should really live their true life and be happy. And honestly, mental health is really important. And when you're not doing those things, I've experienced anxiety, depression, panic attacks. But now that I am being myself and I'm open and I'm, just living my life, I feel like all of those things have been lifted. And that's why I'm suggesting it to everyone else.
Yeah, and the reality is that life is hard as it is, and so like just be yourself so you can deal with life, you don't have to deal with being somebody else or trying to appease other people. So and that's really for everybody. Everybody should be able to comfortably live their life. And I love what Seppi just wrote. She said family is not only blood related, family is where you feel safe, and so that's I fully agree with you, Seppi, and thank you so much for tuning in. My man, do you have any other closing words? Because this was beautiful. I'm trying to keep these IG lives concise to 30 minutes. And we were able to touch on important things that were passionate for you and for me as well to have these conversations. Did we touch everything?
We talked about great things. I'm really happy that we had this podcast because I think it's going to help a lot of people. And I would say just watch out for me. I have a couple of things coming up in the next few months and you guys will hear about it. So that's about it.
I can't wait to share it. And how can they find out more about you? How can they support you as an artist? Above all, that's what you are too as well. So where can they find you? Where can they support you?
My Instagram is Rumy_Love, Facebook Rumy Love, Twitter Rumy_Love, and you guys can DM me and I will respond. I usually respond to everyone.
Wonderful, man. Well, thank you so much for making time and sharing your story, man. I commend you for the strength, the authenticity, the love that you're projecting, hence the name Rumy Love. So keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on marching the streets with whatever kind of shoes you're comfortable with, man. I just want you to continue to just show up, show out, and spread the love, man. So be well, and hope to see you soon in person at some point.
Thank you for this platform, and thank you for the opportunity, Manjan.
Of course, man. Much love. Take care.
See you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. While Rumy is signing off, I just want to give you guys a friendly reminder that tomorrow my guest is Dr. Mahtab Hariri. She's a founder of Intrigue Yellow Foundation, which is a very unique foundation, a nonprofit that's focused on spreading well-being and lifestyle initiatives. She's a fascinating woman, has a lot of things going on, and everything is good-hearted, and it's all about promoting wellness and promoting other great women, especially Persian women. And so I hope you join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern as we have her. And then again, December 29th, mark your calendars. It's Zendegi, a 5-hour special Persian music live stream. So you're going to see promotions for that. If you don't mind, please click on the subscribe button on the Unite and Conquer channel. This is the community that I'm trying to build. Our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. You'll always be up to date on the newest Awesome People podcast episodes, the newest Zendegi live streams, live events that we're going to be doing more and more in person in DC, in Miami, and hopefully a city near you. We're going to continue to bring Persians together through engaging live streams, entertaining conversations, and live events. And if you have any recommendations for an awesome Persian, please click the link in my bio right now, or if you're watching on YouTube, in the description, there'll be a button where you can just say the Instagram page of an awesome Persian you'd like to nominate. Let's continue to shine a bright light on the most awesome of Persians. Much love. Be safe. Take care. And thank you for everyone joining. Appreciate you guys. And appreciate the comments too. Ciao.